Hey everybody, how's it going? It is the Fantasy Rugby Yanks. My name is Jared Dyke.
I'm Ben Glauser.
We are back. We are in, and it's going to be a fun weekend coming up. It was a fun weekend in the past.
It all comes down to this,
Yeah,
or so,
or something,
or something like that.
Something like that. I'm selling you up the river right now.
No.
Yes,
No.
100%. If anybody happens to hate the Kansas City Chiefs or happens to be a Houston Texans fan, this guy right here was calling it over in the first bloody quarter.
This fucking guy.
You and your big mouth get yourself in a lot of trouble.
I neglected the Bill O'Brien factor. I thought it was Bill O'Brien proof. You had
not quite.
No, not quite.
Not quite.
I'm not even gonna. No. I'm the asshole.
Just make sure that you got enough money in the bank to cash that check you write with your mouth.
Yeah, I don't.
You didn't. None on that one.
It doesn't matter. Baltimore's out. That's all I care.
Yeah, I figured that you'd be happy about that.
I am extremely happy about that.
And the Packers won. Hooray!
Oh, that's even better.
Yes. All right, let's move on. Let's crack these fuckers.
Fuck yeah.
Everybody, make sure that you're checking us out on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, TuneIn. Give us a rating on Apple Podcasts. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Even if it's a 1-star rating, we're okay with that.
Yeah.
We're not begging you to give us a 5-star rating. What we're telling you is we want to know what you think. That's the idea here. Yes, that is a lovely pour.
Yeah, look at us.
Yeah, I know.
It's a new year, new pours. We're doing great.
It's like we know what we're doing every once in a while.
Hopefully it transfers over to the pod sometime soon.
We'll again, you know. TRM upgrades. Make sure that you guys are looking at those. And
buy them, especially help the site.
Yeah, help these guys out.
It's worth it. It's good for your team, and it's good for the site. They could use your support.
Yeah, and we obviously want Super Rugby to go off this year because we didn't get a chance to play Super Rugby last year.
No, we did not.
This. We went to FRD. Now we're doing both because we we see the ups and downs of both sides. So, but yeah, we gotta help these guys out. There's a good many thousand of us that can help these guys out by putting in the suggested donation. At least will get you an upgrade as well.
Right.
So do that. But if you're feeling really generous and you got a little extra coin in your pocket and you love playing fantasy rugby, help these guys out. These guys are awesome. I might have done dudes. Myself. Yeah, these are awesome dudes. Yeah. So pledge some money to these guys. That you won't regret it. I promise.
No, you won't.
This is an awesome game. The more fantasy games we have for rugby, the better it is. So, and speaking of fantasy rugby, check out Fantasy Rugby Geek if you need a little extra reading material. He's always putting up new posts. He's always putting up new content. If you're just kind of stuck on something and don't want to trust us, go to our friend the Fantasy Rugby Geek. He's got you covered.
He does.
So yeah. Play him in FRD and see how that goes. Yeah, about that. Speaking of FRD, we do have a Super Rugby FRD that we still have spots open in. So if you want to get on that, either hit Ben or I up on Twitter or fantasyrugbypodcast@gmail.com as well. We'll get you in there. And we'll get you hooked up into the league. We're drafting the weekend before it starts, which I believe is the 31st of this month.
All right, then.
So, yeah, we're drafting that weekend. We'll probably draft that Saturday, honestly.
Yeah.
I see no reason why not. Why not?
Yeah, maybe we'll do another live draft episode.
Yeah, I would love to do another live draft episode. That was fun last year.
You'll have to come see we can use the new back room that we have at the place. It's all set up.
That'll do.
We survived the trip to IKEA this weekend.
Hooray, IKEA.
So,
IKEA, do you want good furniture? Then don't go to IKEA. Yeah, so we'll do that. That was a lot of fun, and it was very popular too. It was a very popular.
It was, so we should do it again.
Yeah, I think we'll give that a shot. But yeah, if you want in into the podcast league, just let us know, and we'll hook you up. We'll open it up to the public eventually, and just let randos choose. But we want the listeners to be in first. We want to give you
first crack at.
Yeah, we want you guys. Yeah, bring it on. We haven't done that well. Let's be real. I think I'm out in the Champions Cup.
I'm not.
I got hosed.
Yeah.
Dude, I looked at the team. I was ahead, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is close. And I still had a couple of Leinster players, a couple of Saints. He had all the good Leinster players save Larmer because I had Larmer.
Oh.
He had Ringrose. I think he had Sexton. He had McGrath. He also had Teddy Toma and Vakatawa. I was like,
well, they didn't do it. Oh, shit.
I was like, I am so not. I only lost by 50 considering.
That's not bad.
I should have got tonked. So whatever I put out couldn't have been that bad. But yeah, tough to win when you're going against the likes of that.
Yeah.
Who's running this shit anyway? That's actually not one I'm running, so joke's on you. Let's talk about the transfers that have been swirling around. Obviously, you and I talked about a big one that has been confirmed as of today, I think. Cobus Reinach leaving the Prem at the end of the season.
But do we know where he's going?
Montpellier.
Oh, he is going to Montpellier. Okay.
Well, that's the rumor. I don't love that fit, honestly. I have an issue with Montpellier that we'll talk about when we get to the game.
I like him for France, though. I think his style is going to play very well down there.
Yes, I just wish it wasn't to there.
Well,
that's all.
I mean, his.
But I know why he's going because Franz Stein and Paula are both there.
Right.
So that kind of
buddies are there.
Yeah, there's lots of brethren there, so that makes it an easy switch. But still, it's like, ugh, just don't love it for rugby in general. That's all.
Yeah.
But then we haven't addressed the elephant in the room the last couple of weeks, but because we're really just waiting to see if there was any confirmation of anything that's been going around, and obviously concerning Ben and I's beloved Saracens, and there's something going on with Ed Griffith, sorry, and he's only been there for he started shit basically being there a day, and I'm like, you've been here a day, dude. Like, what are you doing? Like, are you really trying to fuck this up, or are you just trying to be a dick? Like, there's no way he has that much information that fast.
No,
I doubt it. At least, let's put it that way.
So you gotta remember that it's sport, but these are also executives, and right now that he's in an executive mode, and when you come into a situation that's rocky like this, the first thing you do is you throw the old guy under the bus. Unfortunately,
who's the owner? I wouldn't do that.
No, but that's what you do because you have to present a good front for yourself, and you're only as good as your reputation. And just so not knowing what the situation is, I would understand why somebody like that would, or in that situation, would start to say, "Oh, we don't know what's going to happen," because he puts himself in a situation where nothing will reflect badly on him. Which is really what it's all about, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's that if they have to blow up some of the team, which they won't have to blow up the whole team. Like let's put that right out. Let's be real.
Let's be real about this.
They're gonna they might lose a star or two.
And we know Liam Williams.
And we know Liam's gone. Who knows about some of the others? But
there's players out of contract at the end of the season too. So
right. And like Lewington, we just saw today. He's not even gonna look for another club right now. He's just gonna play rugby and then sign after the season. At least that's what he said in a that I saw.
And Laws is okay with what's going on.
Right.
I love Laws, and I figured he'd probably be one of those guys that leaves at the end of the year anyway. Right. Without this. Without this.
So back to the point though, is that you put yourself in a position where if you do have to let some players go, you say, hey, this is the situation I came into. I told you my first day that this is a possibility, but then. If it turns out that you don't have to do anything, that you can just carry on business as you have been doing, then you get to be the hero. You can be like, we were going to lose these players, but I figured out a way to keep them. So it's
ass.
Really, yeah.
Ass.
He's just bullshitting.
Yep.
Don't take it seriously for now until you actually see real movement. Mm-hmm. And that brings me to my next question, because I saw two rumors last week that, first off, that Joel Kapoku was leaving and might be going to Saints, which I'll get to in a second. The other that Cruz is looking to go to Japan, and I'm whatever. I don't know anything. I haven't seen really confirmation on that. But the other question I had was, I thought Kapoku was already out the door to the Saints.
Same.
And now it's we don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah. So is somebody doubling back on their word? Because of the situation, or are people are covering their ass? I have no idea what the hell it is. Nobody wants to confirm shit right now, which is really annoying.
Right.
It's like, can somebody give me a straight word? You're turning into NFL,
right?
Damn it.
And for an American, the whole idea of someone's signing for another team while continuing to play for the team that they're on now is so fucking confusing. And
it's a foreign concept.
It is. Yes, it's very much a foreign concept.
Exactly.
To us Americans, because the whole thing is you have a contract with one team. You know, American players, they're ruthless.
There is no way, like NBA, NFL.
Oh, I'm gonna go sign with them for next year before the season's over.
I would not trust that.
Your team would be like, get the fuck out the door now.
Yeah, I would not trust that for a fucking second.
Right.
Well, and there are tampering rules put in place now. You know, and I think there are in this case as well. But I think it's when you're down to your last year in rugby. I think it's when you're down to your last year of your contract, you are allowed to seek other options once that happens. In soccer and football, like Premier League, if you get to January and your contract's up at the end of the season, again, you're allowed to go seek other options.
And that makes sense because, especially, you know, we talk about, like, we're seeing now in Major League Baseball, the sign stealing controversy. And you want to talk about controversies?
Yeah.
You know, this Saracens bit is nothing compared to this.
Yeah. So anybody that thinks that we're the bad guys, go ahead and look at these guys. And unfortunately, Boston's beloved Red Sox, who I am a fan of, they might be getting their ass handed to them as well.
Right. So, you know, the controversies are a little bit more over here, and they're more in depth. But the point is, like, your communication, the way you communicate with your teammates, that is vital to the play. So baseball, obviously, they're stealing pitch signs. So the batter knows what the pitcher is going to throw.
He knows
to
what's
them.
coming.
In the NFL, we saw with the Patriots the Spygate scandal, which was silly too, but still bigger than the Sarries scandal. That was them videotaping defensive signals, so they would know what defense they were playing, which allows them to call the play.
And potentially a practice too, right? Yeah.
So all these things are ways of knowing what the other team is doing, whereas rugby and soccer, football, are much more just, it's naked. It's, here's what we're doing. We're not,
this is true.
We're not going to lie to you. We're not going to do any deception. We don't need to have all these hand signals and different play calls.
Yeah.
It's okay. What do we have lined up? Oh, we got 5 guys out there. All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
Instead of, all right, we're going to get into this formation and run this specific play. And no, it doesn't work that way.
You're shouting your play as a 10 from way down the line. You know somebody else is going to hear it anyway, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and the only thing might be like your line-out calls, but God, you can figure out line-out calls fast enough.
Exactly.
Especially if you're a professional.
Yeah.
You know. It's like, all right, I know what they're fucking doing here.
Right. By the late first half, I'm hearing the other team run their line out, and I'm like, okay, I have an idea as to where this is going. Like, you know, it's first jumper, second jumper. What kind of motion are they doing? You get you kind of get it.
Yeah, it's not super secret by any means whatsoever with this stuff.
So that's a big difference. But at the same time, the scandals that are rocking American sports are
a little I mean, just really, it's a black mark.
Yeah,
it really is. Like this, people say this is a black mark. No way.
And that's why you can't have players transferring while they're still under contract. But again, it kind of makes sense. Like, you know, doesn't matter if Kapoku knows the Saracens lineout calls if he's playing for Saints.
No, because they might change him. Number one, number two, they won't care.
Right.
I tell my high school team, I don't care. I'll tell them exactly what the fuck we're doing.
Yeah.
We're still gonna do it better than them. Yep. So that's okay. You know, as long as you execute it well, it doesn't matter. Okay, moving on. Let's go to the games. Games were freaking, some of them were pretty wild this weekend.
They were pretty fucking wild.
So it was good stuff.
A lot of red cards this week.
And I didn't. I'll be candid. I definitely didn't watch them all. We you and I both talked about it's probably not going to happen that we watch them all.
Right.
And you know, some of them weren't. Some of them were worth watching. Some of them, most of them, still had some sort of implication on what was going to happen this weekend. Mm-hmm. But some of them were like, oh, okay, that's an easy one. You know, like I didn't watch Leinster, but they absolutely hosed Leon. You know, and it's just like, okay, well, I need to watch that. Thank you.
It didn't have any. You know, I kind of tried to watch matches that had implications to who was going to be moving on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's mostly what I aim for. Unfortunately, both Friday night matches weren't worth a fuck in terms of that. I did watch the Sale match. It wasn't bad.
Okay.
La Rochelle played a little bit more expensive as they do at home as opposed to away. Mm-hmm. Sale put out a team. AJ got hurt. That sucked.
Right.
I was like, ew. Two out of the three Dupree brothers were on. The two twins, JL and Dan, and they were doing their thing. But other than that, I mean, it wasn't crazy. It wasn't that good. There we go.
Cora's fired.
There goes that.
Just like we were talking about.
Did you watch the Bath Quins match?
No, I
didn't either. I did hear that Max Green broke his leg.
Oh, I did hear that.
That sucks.
That indeed sucks.
That's a you're thrown out there as unfortunately as kind of the being thrown to the wolves and just the sacrificial lamb, and literally you are because you break, and that sucks.
That's not good. I mean, there were a couple injuries this week too, so stuff you don't want to see, especially in a match like that where that has no bearing whatsoever on Champions Cup.
No.
But it has every bearing on Premiership. Yes.
And so, that's why they obviously didn't go full bore with the team. All right, let's go to something a little bit more exciting. Ospreys and Saracens at Liberty.
It got evened up pretty quickly.
Yeah, no kidding. Yikes. Reese Carey, whatever, however you want to pronounce it. I guess it's Welsh, so we'll go Carey. A bit of a unlucky red card, but still, you got to bring your tackle height down, and that's pretty much what the end of it is.
That's the way the game's going.
Yeah,
it's one of those, you look at it and you say, that's not bad, but that's the way the game's going.
Yes,
just don't put yourself. What I always say is, don't put yourself in a position where the referee gets to make a decision. And yep, that was a red card, and that was the right red card. It ticked all the boxes of a red card, and there were no mitigations. So
yep,
that's unfortunate.
Yeah, so that was super unfortunate. But Manu Vuapola looks pretty good. He's transformed in front of our eyes.
He really has. He's blossomed. There was remember the first couple of matches with him. It was
a lot of game management out of him, not so much trying to make plays.
Too much.
Yep.
And this now it's okay.
Even his kicking,
right?
Kicking and kicking at goal.
Yeah,
both have vastly improved since the beginning of the season for him.
Oh, and the kicking at goal was ridiculous.
It was
this
great.
Game.
It was great for the weather that it was in. That was excellent work. I don't think he missed, did he?
Uncertain.
I think he hit everything, which is crazy to think. Anyway, and then Joel Kapoku ended up having a decent match on top of that because he both came on for a Sequay for an HIA or a Bloodbin, whichever one it was, and then also he came on for Willie Skelton somewhere near the beginning of the second half rather. But yeah, this Ospreys team rocked up. They smelled the blood, especially when Callum Clark went into the bin as well. They really smelled blood, and this team needed a win so badly, especially like this. That would have been so monumental for their season to maybe switch things around. They put Alan Wynne Jones back in. He hadn't played for a while. He did pretty damn well for a guy that hadn't played in like 3 months. So you got to give him a shitload of credit. I have to say I do love. Is it Leslie Klim, the Namibian wing that plays for them? I love when he's in. He looks like he's gonna try and take it the distance every time. Although he didn't get a whole lot of space this game.
Yeah,
but I do like him a ton. So it was it was a little dicey, obviously, for the Saracens going through it. It was tit for tat penalties, and then they got the try when Callum Clark was sent off to the naughty chair.
Yeah, and that was stupid of him.
Yeah,
that
wasn't the most blatant yellow card.
Yeah, but the Saracens' discipline, even after the red card, was shit.
Yeah, they
were just being dicks.
Their heads were all over the place.
So at that point, I think that wasn't so much for what Clark did, although what Clark did was stupid. There was clearly a ruck formed, and he was fucking with the ball with his hands, and I think there are laws against that, if I'm not mistaken, and he's old enough to know better.
That's the one that he got right, though.
Yeah.
That's the only one he got wrong, I should say. He won a couple of big penalties in this match, it has to be said. And then let's talk about the Lewington try.
Yes, please.
Wow. What timing. Perfection.
Right.
Perfection. That was so, and obviously it came off the foot of Richard Wigglesworth, who I don't know he wasn't the man of the match, was he?
I don't recall.
Been. God, he should have been. But yeah, either way, holy shit, he played his ass off. If it wasn't him, maybe a Sequay or something like that.
I don't know. I don't think it lists it on the.
That's too bad.
On the page.
Either way, because I didn't hear the commentary team actually announce it.
No, I think at that point I was too busy just being like, all right, got away with that one.
Relief, I can go poop now.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, I do want to talk about Nick Sequay because he was the target in the lineout, and I don't know how many he missed. You could probably count it on a couple of fingers. They were throwing everything to him, and he looked great. So, and he is that definitely becoming that X factor that you can put at 6, which he's done very well at, and become a fucking awesome lineout option. So you got to give the kid a boatload of credit. He's got a load of caps already for the Saracens. I'm waiting on his next England one.
I'd like to see. I mean, he's obviously at the international level. He's a lock. I'd like to see more speed out of him for him to be a 6. Just 6, a little bit.
6 is your
thumper.
Usually your heftier flanker.
Yeah,
so that's why you can get away with it.
He can get away with it. But I think he's just one of those. If he makes the plays he makes at lock, excellent lock. Kind of for me, I wouldn't say substandard, but certainly not the elite level.
Well, he's not. It's not unlike putting Morrow there.
Yeah. Oh, it is. It's exactly, yeah.
It's not unlike putting him there. And,
no.
They don't do it very often at England level.
No.
With Morrow, so I wouldn't expect...
They do that more with Laws, really.
Yeah, well, he's a fucking... Good God, he's a belter.
Yeah.
Woo. Yeah, he hurts people.
Yes, he does.
In any case, the Saracens do win 15-22 over Sprays, and they set themselves up for quite the clash coming back to Allianz this coming weekend, which obviously we'll talk about in a little bit. The other match that was in this window was Claremont and Ulster, and it was a good. I watched the first half of this match. Didn't get to the second half, unfortunately. This was pretty damn good. Oliver Atiraka is a cheat code. Like we talk about cheat codes all the time.
Yeah,
he's one of them. He's definitely one of them. John Cooney, pen him in for Ireland squad for sure.
Gotta be.
I don't think he's going to unseat Conor Murray, but he's definitely their backup right now.
So here's the question, though, because I don't know that Ireland's released their roster yet.
Not to my knowledge.
But do they do something like what we're expecting England to do and kind of go young?
I don't know. I mean, Cooney's not that young.
He's not that young, but I mean, he as far
different.
As right, and a little bit of inexperience from. So it's more of a different, maybe putting out a different lineup. They know what they have in Murray. Obviously, he's going to make the squad or be on the squad. It's just a question of do they want to, bring up some newbies and see what they can do? Because last I checked, Ireland have a long way to go.
Yeah,
to where they need to be
if they really want to become world contenders.
I would not. Here. Right. If I'm running them, I am not looking to bring the same squad that they brought to the World Cup. I'm looking to make
definitely
changes.
Not.
There's no need.
Definitely not. Like even if Joe Schmidt was still in charge of this team, I would imagine that he would get a little more creative in his brain.
Right.
From this point on, at least. No, I mean new coach. This is a new cycle. I would anticipate some switches for sure. Stuart McCloskey should be on that list as well.
Yeah.
He is a bull. He has definitely been a huge factor for Ulster in that midfield. They obviously let this thing fade, and Claremont took care of business eventually, 29-13. But they played a pretty good first half. I think you can probably attribute a little bit of that to the Parr yellow card, but still, to go to Marcel Michelin and play as well as they did, at least for that first half, and only fade until very late. You got to give them credit. So it's a tough place to go, not unlike their own place. So yeah, that blue and yellow circle is not really fun to go to. So I don't envy any team that has to go to Claremont if they get to a home quarterfinal here. And then the next window, we had a couple of interesting games. You and I were texting, and you were like, "Yeah, that'll be boring." Exeter Glasgow, nothing but excitement. Oh my goodness! No
interest in watching those two teams play and then combining each other. Play each other. No.
62 points between the two of them.
Did not see that. I chose poorly.
Yeah. It was a doozy. it was a doozy. Hoggy missed one right at the end, just clanked off the crossbar that would have won it. Put a hell of a leg into it. He was on the other side of the 50.
Yeah,
so
that would have been a hell of a win or the kick then.
Yeah, well, especially at his old place.
Yeah,
that would have been a huge kick for him. There was a lot of good stuff from both squads. Both squads played pretty open. They really did.
Okay.
So
maybe I'll go back and give that a watch.
Yeah, give that a bit of a look. I think there was definitely some errors that were capitalized on, but at the same time, yeah, I think both squads played fairly openly. Yes, the usual suspects are scoring for Exeter with the likes of Kvesic and Vermeulen's kind of come into one as well. But it was still a not a boring game by any means whatsoever. So that is definitely worth the watch. Exeter get a draw. They qualify after getting both the draw and the bonus point, which ensured them winning the group. So their only thing left to worry about is where do they land in terms of 1 through 5 there. And then you watched the Toulouse.
The honor of watching, Connacht Toulouse. It started and ended
7-21
with just shit discipline for Toulouse. Connacht opened the scoring 10 minutes in with a penalty try, and a yellow card to Joe Takori in the process. So
silly Takori.
Then Fainga gets a yellow card for a high hit 5 minutes later, so they're kind of even. So
yeah,
then Toulouse threatened. They did okay. It was Kano got over, obviously, because that's what he does.
Yeah, he's a beast. He is a monster.
And I want to point out Florian Verhaeg, who charged down the Connacht kick and just couldn't gather it. He was all he had to do was pick up the ball and put it over the line. And
shit! And
unfortunately, he had lock hands and
silly second rows. Oh wait.
But then right after halftime, Connacht kicked up. Charge on a kick again, but this time they pounce on it for the try. So it kind of all evened out.
Yep.
Justice was served. And then speaking of justice, Toulouse go down to 13.
Yo.
Hugier gets a yellow for a dump tackle. It was a bit of a soft, because he didn't really dump him. He held him, and I don't remember who he had in the air.
Luke Pierce doesn't fuck around though.
And it was certainly a dump, but it was very slow motion. It was like, I'm gonna lower you down, but because of the way it landed and all that stuff.
Yeah. Once you get above the horizontal, you're getting a penalty either way. So that's something you have to know.
But that half of that was the ball carrier trying to get to deck and squirming. So to me there was some mitigation there. That it should have been penalty only, but it's also Hugier, so fuck him. It's a yellow.
Maybe it's a history thing at that point.
Yeah. But then shortly after that, Zach Holmes has that high tackle. It's clearly a high tackle, clearly straight red. No question about it.
He's got a bad habit of that. He did that last year in the quarterfinal.
Yeah.
And they still won. Couldn't believe it.
Well, they still won this one, too.
Yeah, they still won this one, but he got that one pretty early last year against Racing.
This one was like 71st or so.
Yeah, okay, so something you can maybe stomach at least.
Yeah, and so they played the last like 9 or so with 13, and still won. They kept them out.
Yep.
Okay,
Toulouse got the job done.
They did,
and this is what they needed to get themselves over the line for a quarterfinal here.
Holmes has also been, as has Carey, but both have been called in for discipline.
Of course.
So there was a third red that I don't remember who also called in.
I'm sure we'll figure out which one it was. We had, and then to end the day, Gloucester keep their hopes alive with a nice performance at Kingsholm. Louis Rees-Sammet. He's declared Lewis. That's right. It's what he did say that. I guess he finally
stood up for himself.
Unveiled the mystery.
I've scored enough tries. Damn it, I'm Lewis.
So yeah, Louis Rees-Sammet. He has declared for Wales.
Good.
Said hands off England. I'm playing for Wales, which is awesome.
Love to see it.
Also, when guy that's gonna play for Wales probably is Nick Tompkins.
Okay, good.
He's said hands off England. I'm playing for Wales.
I like this.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a huge miss for England's part, but I kind of had a sense that he was gonna always play for Wales no matter what. But awesome for him. I hope he gets the call up this go around. I hope Wayne Payback picks up the phone and calls him. We'll get into that later on. But yes, Gloucester. This brings me a little bit to my point about Montpellier. This was ugly, and they just don't play good stuff. They don't.
No.
This is bad rugby. This is very bad rugby. I don't know how. I don't have another way to describe it. It's not good. It's not good rugby, and they've been in this place. They've been in the Champions Cup for the last 2 years, and I've yet to see a good game out of them. A really good game. They've had so many. They've had a lot of brain farts. They've had, yes, they have some good individual efforts, and that which makes them a little bit attractive to watch sometimes. But overall, it's like this is not a watchable team. And how the fuck they keep getting into the Champions Cup, I have no idea. Yeah. But somebody in France, stop this, please. Like, get in there in front of them, please, because we deserve better than this for the Champions Cup. Like, even in their early games, it was just awful stuff. It really wasn't good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they got a win, but
big freaking deal. Who'd they beat?
Who did they beat?
They beat Gloucester at home.
Okay.
And that was without Sips.
That's
that
right.
was a depowered Gloucester team.
Well, this was without Sips. He
got hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know what the status on him is.
Right.
But yeah, that's not great either. I
mean, it looked like an ankle injury, so
yeah.
If it doesn't, that's a couple weeks, if at most. So I mean, his Champions Cup is over. They'll shut him down for next week anyway. See what happens after that within the Prem.
Right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what he ends up doing, because we'll talk about the games in a little bit. Yeah, we'll talk about what their options are here. But either way, they at least keep themselves alive. 29-6. They got all 4, I believe, as well. So yeah, they did, because that drew them level with Saracens. So let's go to Sunday, and there was some also interesting matches, even though a couple of them we expected to go one way or another. But still, there was one that definitely kind of was a little wobbly. Northampton and Benetton started off a little bit wobbly, and Chris Boyd said it, and he said, he was very, very, he was definitely very upset that Northampton did not respect Benetton enough to take them seriously, and they didn't, and Benetton jumped on them for a little bit. A couple sucker punch tries that, you hope you don't give up, but if you're not paying attention, you're not respecting your opponent, you're going to give them up.
Right. Like that intercept try was just kind of a bonehead.
What are you giving that pass for?
Yeah.
What are you giving that pass for? What's wrong with you? Awesome I had to stand up and cheer too when Harry Mallender got over. Awesome for him. He's been out for so long. He's a huge part of this Northampton Saints team for a long time. His dad was there obviously for a little while as the coach. Awesome for him. I was so happy that he got over in the fashion he did, and Franklin's Gardens basically shook the earth when he scored. So that was very awesome. Just want to point that a little bit out there. Benton played some good stuff. That
game changed for me anyway, and I took a note of it when it happened, just because I was wondering what was going to happen. And it was it was 4 words that my note was and here comes Reinach.
He
comes onto the field.
Not a knock on Henry Taylor, but
no,
fuck, Reinach makes such a difference.
Reinach,
he really
it's
does.
Not just that it's a sub and that you're subbing a quality 9 for a world class 9.
Yeah,
like it's also that you're bringing on somebody who just has a fire up. Like when you bring on that reserve, that can be a game changer.
Yeah, what minute did he come on?
Oh, I didn't write it down, but I can see.
Let's see if we can look at it here.
55th minute.
Okay, so he's got 35 minutes. He's got 25 minutes to burn his legs out, and we know he's got some.
And right after that is when Van Vick got over.
Yep.
So then it was on at that point.
The Franks and Frank's attorney at law came on after that. The 2 Franks brothers came on.
I was wondering when we were going to see that, but I guess the internationals restriction makes that kind of hard for the Saints.
So that's both of their international right there, burned right there.
Right. So you can't have Reinach. You can't have.
So Reinach doesn't count. South Africa doesn't count.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because there's some weird rule. I don't remember why. Because I remember reading about it with the Brexit stuff and what applies where.
Fuck knows. They're just making shit up as they
anyway,
go.
I think they might be. They might be. They might not be as bad as we are, but fuck, they're definitely making some shit up as they go. Tommaso Allen missed a couple of big kicks, and there were a couple of bad decisions where I was thinking, why the fuck are you not going for the corner?
Yeah.
So there were a couple of those. Some of them are right in front. You have to freaking take the kicks that are right in front. But there's a couple others. I'm like, why are you taking a long, weird ass shot at goal? Go for the damn corner.
Yeah,
they showed that they can get it over.
Right.
Faiva got over, and he's I think he's their leading try scorer this year, and it's mostly from that. It's not from open play. It's not because he's Harry Thacker. It's because that's what they do. They just drive it over, and he falls on the line when he sees it. So Northampton do also, win. What's
so
up?
back to Northampton though. To me, their biggest problem was their line out.
Matavesi.
They couldn't hit a fucking line out.
Yeah, Fish didn't do any better.
And that's, to me, you want to, I realize that Boyd's going to be worried more about other things, I guess. But if all that goes away, if they hit lineouts, how many did they have inside of, deep inside the Benetton 22?
Oh, a bunch.
That they overthrew, or they missed, or
they knocked it on.
Straight, or they knocked it, all that shit. Yep. It's like, you know what? There's no excuse. Lineouts should be fucking automatic. It's not, it's not the most complex thing in the world.
No.
Hit your mark.
It was not great.
Right. Hit your mark. Get your timing right. That shit should be automatic on game day. Mm-hmm. And that was a shame to see, because that really fucked up everything Northampton wanted to do.
I think it says a lot about what Mikey Haywood is to this team, though, because he was not in the team at all. I mean, Fish hasn't played for a little while.
No.
Good to see him back, but definitely rusty. Mm-hmm. And then, unfortunately, Sam Matavesi, as much as I love him, did not do himself any justice here. But just the same, Saints get it done. They're still well alive. They are definitely right there, along with Gloucester, us, and a couple other teams for one of those runner-up spots. 33-20 over Benetton. And then the other match that was in that window was the Leinster match, which we kind of thought would happen the way it did.
Yeah.
I guess the halftime score wasn't that bad, but the final score was a taunting.
Yeah, halftime was 21-14.
Okay, that's respectable.
And then 42-14 the final.
Yeah, they didn't say, so they don't score another point. I guess Dave Carney is on fire with this team. He scores tries for fun. His try rate is super, super high. I was like, I think it's 1 for 1 right now.
Wow.
I was like, yikes. So yeah, he's pretty good. Not bad for being the sidekick brother.
Yeah.
Of Rob, who, late breaking news. I guess he's called it good for Ireland. Oh. He said he's not gonna play anymore for him. So, he's not young.
No,
he's not old, but he's not young. And sometimes you make that decision where you go, I'm probably not making the next World Cup squad, so I think I can step away from the team, and especially if you feel like they're in good hands.
Yeah,
which I think they are.
I think they are.
They'll be okay. The likes of Larmer, who looks amazing, will be fine.
He's all right.
So Leinster win 42-14 over Lyon, and they take care of it. They've already qualified. They're well in the driver's seat of getting the top and getting home country advantage all the way to the final. Obviously, the finals is in Marseille, so that's not home country, but they at least can have 2 home games as long as they take care of their job there. Let's go to the last one, La Défense. Oh my, this was and
it didn't start it started like a fucking premiership match.
Yeah, a little bit. But you know what, Munster was okay with that. That's the thing. They wanted that. That's the type of thing they want. They don't want open play against these guys.
No, but the penalty kicks.
There was a point where I was like, are they going to eventually go for the corner? Because they're going to need to.
Right. Because they got. Let me look at the timeline. I think it was they kicked. Yeah, the first 3 penalty kicks. Mm-hmm. At some point once you get your 6th point, you might want to start going to the corner.
Yep.
And. They missed another penalty kick later, but ended up scoring a try off of that anyway, that sequence. So, I don't know. And then even after that, they're kicking penalties, and I'm like, stop fucking kicking penalties. Go for the corner.
You're gonna have to go for the jugular.
You got it. You're not gonna keep Rossing off the board. Mm-mm. It's not gonna happen. So you got to match up and say, okay, we're gonna go for some points here. That did not happen.
No, they did get the Conway try, which was, I believe, was off the intercept. Luckily, he was not on Teddy Toma's wing. He was on the other wing, because had he been, Teddy was close, and he was coming from the other side of the field and across. Like, got to give him full effort for that one. That was really, really good chase, even though he did not get there in time. But yeah, like I said, if Conway had picked that off on the other wing, he's gonna get caught.
Fucking enough about Munster. Can we talk about Teddy Iribarren?
Hooey! What a pass! That was like arrogance. He's like, somebody said something like, "Oh yeah, I could totally pass this like a normal person, but I'm gonna just throw it like an asshole and see what happens."
Like no look. He turned his whole body towards his left, and all of a sudden that ball's shooting out his right hand. Like,
shot out the back.
Wow.
Oh man, but, I couldn't believe it. I was like, did he just did that work?
And it did. And then of course we got to talk about that Teddy Tama try off the kick from Finn.
Oh, glorious. This is what they can do. This is what they can do. This is what they're capable of doing. This is what they do. This is how Racing want to play.
And I remember watching that, and I'm like, there's no way. Like, you see him kick, oh, it's out the back, unfortunately. Like, okay, it'll come back. And all of a sudden, there's Teddy just grabbing it out of the air and dotting it down. And he starts, like, celebrating like he scored. Like, there was no doubt in his mind that he scored. And I'm like, look, I get that you're playing it up for the crowd, but come on, man. There's no way you got it down. And then they show the replay, and I'm like, what the fuck? You put it down?
How did you get that down?
Like, you gotta be fucking with that.
That was, sorry. That was wild. I'm trying not to choke on this. Oh my goodness, that was crazy. It was a fantastic match. You got to give Munster full credit for coming in. This was a tough environment for them right away. They said it on the broadcast. This is an arena that has rugby played in it, sometimes not a rugby pitch.
Yep.
And it's, I don't think that could be more true. But this is how they like it. This is Racing. This is absolutely their home field advantage for sure.
I mean, the crowd's like right on you.
Yeah, and there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. So it's an environment that you have to be very used to. So if I were Racing, I would. And, they're hoping for a home quarterfinal, obviously. Right. If I were them, I'd hope that it's not a French team that comes there, because that's what happened last year. Toulouse has been there, done that.
Yeah.
They know what to expect walking in there, and they were able to beat them. So if I were them, I'd hope it's nobody that's been there, at least not for a while.
I don't think they have to worry about that.
So we'll see how that.
Because you look at all the teams that are vying for. Well, we're done with the games, right?
Yeah. Let's just. I do want to hit on. Remy Vakatawa real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Fuck. That's not fair. He finishes like he's in the 80th minute, like it's the first.
Yeah.
And he's just a house. Like, good luck tackling that man. I am not envying anybody that has to tackle him. And I also wanted to note, Juan Imhoff does love that inside line coming off his wing. Mm-hmm. You saw him almost break one. He broke one against Ospreys in the same fashion. Just Munster are slightly better tacklers. So these guys have a shit ton of creativity up their sleeve, and especially with Vin the Magician in there. So we'll talk about them in a little bit. This will be very interesting to what goes on this coming week. So
onto that, we're looking at the just looking at the overall standings.
Yeah, let's look at the pools real quick here.
Right. So we're going.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
I will flip my paper over.
So we got Leinster at 24.
Yeah, so let's go. Let's just get. So they're at 24. What's their point differential?
Point differential, 105.
105. Okay. Who's their runner up right now?
Their runner up?
Yeah.
In that pool?
Yeah.
Oh, it's Saints.
Saints. Okay.
At 14.
At 14. And what's their point differential right now?
Negative 29.
Yuck. Okay. And let's go to pool 2.
Exeter.
The
Chefs.
And what are they at?
They are at 22.
22. What's their points?
62.
Pretty good. And then their runner-up right now is Glasgow. All right, so they're still kind of alive, right? What do they have?
And they're negative 12.
They have. What are their points though?
Oh, sorry, 12.
12, and they're at negative 12.
They're at negative 12.
Yuck. That's not helpful.
And 1 second, we're looking at
pool 3.
Glasgow, pool 3.
So
they're playing
Yeah, we'll get to the opponent. Right. We'll get to the opponents in a second.
Because La Rochelle is right behind them with 10 points, but that doesn't. But they're out.
We already talked about they talked about on the broadcast. Nobody's qualified without at least 16, and 16 is like the edge.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. Pool 3.
Pool 3 is
Claremont.
Claremont
with 20.
That's not a great number.
No, it's not. A differential of 86.
That's a pretty good number, though.
It's not a bad number.
That helps. And who's their runner-up? Ulster.
At 17 points.
17. That's pretty good.
With 15 differential.
Okay, just a plus 15 still. Good.
Yep.
All right, so they're in decent. I'd pencil them in as a runner-up probably, as long as they don't completely fuck it up this weekend. Right. 4 is that our pool?
That's Racing.
So Racing up ahead
with 22.
They have 22, and what's their point differential?
71.
Right, pretty good. I actually expected it to be a little higher.
Yeah.
Ceres
with 14.
14, yeah. What's the point differential
30.
for them? 30. Oh, wow, we're in the positive.
Yep.
I thought in my head, I thought we got tonked a little bit more by Racing when we actually didn't get that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
It was a whooping, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. All right, and then Munster. Because what do they have?
And then Munster has 11.
All right, so again,
they're
on the line. On the line, what's their point differential?
0. They're even.
They're dead on even. How the hell does that happen? Okay. And then the last pool.
Last pool, Toulouse leads with 22 points.
Okay, so it's 22.
Differential of 56.
Nice.
And then Gloucester.
Yep.
With 14.
They're with 14.
And a differential of 21.
21. All right. So let's talk about. So we can probably, because Leinster are playing Benton, right?
Looking. Yes.
Okay, so we can probably put Leinster in as the 1 right now.
Yeah.
Because even they put a D power team into that, going to Italy, they'll be fine. They'll at least get 4, if not 5.
You're right.
So and nobody else can catch them if that happens. So
right.
we'll put them in as the 1. Let's go down the pools the rest of the way here to figure out where everybody else lies. Exeter are playing La Rochelle at home, who they already beat at La Rochelle.
Right.
And I think they got a bonus point out of that too, if I'm not mistaken. So I would go ahead and give them a bonus point with that one right there as well.
I'd assume that's going to be a bonus point win for them.
Yeah, so probably a 27 for them. Glasgow have to play Sale there. They struggled with Sale at home.
Yeah.
So maybe they get 4. Maybe. I think that's what I'll give them. I'll give them 4 because I don't think Sale's going to give them a whole lot of a team to play against. But then again, we talked. Like I said, they struggled with Sale at Scotstoun. Mm-hmm. What are they going to do going to Salford? So it's going to be tough. I think they'll get 4. I don't think they're going to get the bonus point out of it though.
I think that's fair.
So I think that's probably
a very fair prediction.
Yep. So
they'll end with 16.
So they'll end with 16. So that keeps them alive potentially, depending on how everything else goes.
Right.
And then Claremont play. Oh god, these two teams are playing Quins and Bath, aren't they? Claremont and Ulster.
Claremont plays Quins.
Oh, at
Ulster
Quins.
At Quins. Ulster play at home against Bath.
All right, I'm gonna give Ulster 22 because I think they're gonna tonk Bath, and I'll probably give Claremont 25. Honestly, I know they're a French team playing away from home and they don't traditionally do well, but Quins aren't gonna put out a good team.
I'm not gonna argue any of that.
You know, so you can probably circle Ulster as the number 6 because they're gonna probably be the best runner-up. I don't see who else beats them.
Right.
I think they're gonna just hose Bath, especially at the Kingsman. Yeah, they're at home. They're not going anywhere. All right, the big one, Pool 4. This will have a lot of bearing on what goes on up and down the whole thing. We have Racing and Ceres playing each other. We can assume Munster will absolutely rinse Ospreys, no doubt.
No doubt.
So probably put them at 16 points. Yeah.
So Ceres are basically playing. They have to have the win.
They have to have a win. There's no doubt about it. Because I don't think I think with Glasgow probably winning, and the Saints probably winning, who will probably get. They're gonna go to Leon. We didn't get a chance to talk about that. So rewind. Boop boop. Saints have to go to Leon, so that'll be tough. That'll be tough. But they talked about it in the broadcast. Leon have a match against Toulon the following week, which is a huge match for them, especially where they are in the table. They're pretty high up there. They're
Lyon
2 and 3, I think.
Nothing to play for the Champions Cup.
Right.
So why would they? Yeah, they'd be powering up for Toulouse next week or Toulon.
Toulon, the other one. I would. Yeah. So I'll at least give Saints 18.
Yeah.
So we'll give them that. They are away from home, so it might be tough. They couldn't get a bonus point against Lyon at home, and I know that was probably a better team that the French put out. So we'll call it 18 if they get 19.
I also think the Saints are playing better right now. They were kind of just finding themselves earlier on in that season.
I would imagine we'd see the likes of Dan Bigger and Ryanak in this match.
Right. I don't think we saw them the first time around.
We do. Maybe not Ryanak, but definitely Bigger.
Yeah.
And then. So, all right, let's fast forward back to Pool 4. Racing and Ceres at the Allianz. This is a scary match for me because Racing are definitely still playing for something. They don't want to be that fifth seed that's a quarterfinal winner. So they are going to put out the likes of Toma, Bakatawa, Finn Russell, Anthony Claassen, all those guys that you don't want to see on that team sheet.
Yeah. So it's a question of what does Mark McCall do? Like, does he say we're going to rock up and measure ourselves against this team?
I think he does because, this is my running theory, is that he's kind of treating the Champions Cup as a lot of the Pro 14 teams do, where you don't send a lot of your big guns away, but you rock up at home, especially in the big matches here. Yeah. So they didn't really
especially for this, like if you want to, even if you want to test yourself now rather than wait until it's later in the season and you need a big win against an Exeter or a Northampton. You need to have something in reserve, knowing, okay, we've been here, we've been playing some good competition, and we've played with each other as far as the top side.
Yeah, for continuity's sake, they need to put their top side out probably. Yeah. I do want to mention Elliot Obatayembo, who didn't get to play a whole lot in that Saracens match because he got pulled because of the Reese card,
the yellow card,
the Reese Carey red card. He was the sacrificial lamb, unfortunately. So I do feel for the kid. He was probably ready to go and amped up. And
fucking Reese Carey comes in and fucks it all up.
Reese, you owe him a beer. Buy him one.
Many beers.
Buy him a pint, you fucking dick. Okay, so Sarries at home. Everybody's rested. Racing played almost all their big boys last week.
Right.
The only one, I think, Machino and Ibrahim can be swapped interchangeably, so that's not a thing for me. I think somebody tried to make a thing of it. It was like, I'd back either one, honestly. I'll put the hopes and dreams on it and hope that Mark McCall puts out a real team. So that'll at least I'd say we get 4.
Yeah.
I'd say we get 4. Racing probably loses by less than 7.
Give them a bonus point.
For sure. Maybe they get a try bonus somehow out of it. I don't know. Either way, but let's at least 1.
Yeah.
So that'll give them 23. And then the other pool, Toulouse and Gloucester. Here's the bad news. Toulouse are playing for something and they're playing Gloucester. Bad news for Gloucester. They're going to France against a team they've already lost to.
Yeah.
Which sucks. So I wonder what Johan Ackerman's going to do here.
And do they have
Sips?
Cipriani?
Mm-hmm. That'll be a big one.
I'm assuming they don't. That looked like it wasn't.
It's at least a week.
At least a week off.
Yep. So Owen Williams at 10, playing Toulouse in front. Yeah. Sorry, I think we can put this down to at least a 26-pointer for Toulouse, maybe more. I don't know, but we'll call it 26 for now. Gloucester would be maybe at 15, which isn't enough.
Right.
So let's go through it here. All right. Next highest team I can see would be Exeter. So they get potentially the 2. If not, Toulouse would be right there with them. So it'll be either Exeter or Toulouse, 2 and 3. So that'll be a big thing for both those squads and what they do.
Oh yeah, because their point differentials are they're 6-point difference. 56 for Toulouse, 62 for Exeter.
Yeah, that'll be a big one.
I'm kind of shocked at that for Exeter, but
right. That's good for them at least. Getting some points on the board. So yeah, that'll be a big pivot right there. Who gets the home country advantage there? Maybe one of them blows it anyway, so it won't matter.
Yeah.
And that would leave the 4 as Clermont. But here's the bad news, Clermont. If things break the way that we've just suggested, Not saying that. Not saying it's so it's going to go. If they break the way that we've suggested, Racing is going to be your 5, and that's bad news for you.
Yes, it is.
Because if there's a club that can figure out how to win at Marcel Michelin, it's them. So that's the bad news. 6 will likely be Ulster, and then we'd have 7 being Saracens, which would put Saints at 8, which leaves potentially a rematch for Leinster and Saints.
Yeah,
for all the marbles back at Aviva. I would say they're not going to play it at the RDS. I'd say they're going to play it at the Aviva. 2 old familiar foes, Exeter and the Saracens, rocking together at Sandy Park, doing it one more time. Toulouse and Ulster, which would be a tasty matchup in its own, and then Claremont and Racing at home against each other.
That would suck. It would suck to have 2 English teams playing each other
after all this.
After all that shit.
Agreed. So maybe the Saracens need to find a way to have Ulster lose or something, because that's basically the only way it's going to happen, because there's no way they're getting the 6. No, unless they go to the 8, in which case they're playing Leinster, which is not really an appetizing thing either.
Because and they'd beat Exeter at their own.
I'd like to think that the Champions Cup lore would bring a little bit more for the Saracens, because they've been there, done that, and Exeter haven't. But of course, when you play a familiar foe, that gives you a slight. That advantage just gets a little bit smaller.
The difference is, I think that Exeter would retreat back into their shell of just doing that, looking for penalty, like playing a tight game of kicking to the corner and trying to
what an atmosphere that would be, though.
Shove it over. I don't think they would still play this open game. I think they've tried to bring that to Europe. But I think as soon as they have when they have that home game against it,
they might go back to reliable,
especially against a Premiership team. Let's see if we can beat the Saris this way. And it's like, dumbass, just play your best rugby, not what you do, but better.
All right, yeah. I mean, it would be a hostile atmosphere.
You'd
be able to feel the blood in the air.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Ooh, tingles up my spine and somewhere else, but that's a different story for a different day. All right, let's do pick 'em. Leon and Northampton, we both agree it's probably going to be a Northampton win.
Yep.
Benton and Leinster, probably the same thing.
No, I don't think Northampton's going to win that game.
Yeah, but you know what I mean, asshole. Ulster Bath. Sorry, Bath, you're going to be taking a bath. It's going to be a rinsing.
Yeah.
Quins and Claremont. Alvaretti Rocca runs wild, more than likely.
I don't think the Quins can stop him.
I don't think the Quins know how to stop him. Maybe Lasika gets a hold of him, but Rocca's on the wing, so that's the bad news there.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to catch
Paul's
him.
Not getting out there. Yeah. I love Paul, but nope.
Sale
Glasgow. Yeah, I think Glasgow can get it done, even though they're away from home, and they've had a couple of hiccups in this competition, but they did play really well last week against a really good team.
Yeah, I think they take it.
I'm still giving that.
Sale neither of these teams really. Neither of them have anything to play for. Mm-hmm. Glasgow, they'll get the win. I mean, maybe they get a bonus point, but
yeah, and even then, they're going to need to really hope that results play out.
I still think
elsewhere.
They're going to rock up, and Sale really have work to do in the Premiership that they can't.
They can't throw a lot,
especially with all the injuries that we've seen. Even with Sale,
we'll be seeing probably one of the James brothers at 10. I bet instead of AJ or Dupree, because I think AJ's out for a bit. Dupree is not going to play.
Nope.
So yeah, there's that. Exeter, La Rochelle. I'm going to go Exeter as we talked about. And then to Sunday, Munster Ospreys. This should be a taunting. I'm sorry, Ospreys, but Munster, you're going to Thomond Park against Munster. That's never a good thing.
Yeah,
that's their home. That's their happy place. They're good.
And I don't think Ospreys have a happy place right now. So.
I'm not sure they do either. Jeez, them poor guys.
I feel so bad for Squidge. He's so bitter.
I know, he's just a little bit. Just a little bit. Saracens and Racing. Praying and hoping that the boys in black get it done.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with them.
I mean, a full strength squad with the rest. I think they'll get it. I think they'll get it. You know, a team in Racing that played this past weekend, full bore probably. You know, mostly. I can't recall anybody that didn't play that usually would. So yeah, maybe Zebo. It's the only guy that I can think of, but I don't know if he's okay.
Yeah.
He was dropped from the lineup early. It was anticipated he was going to miss this week, but so we'll see what he is on the cards for him coming up this week. And then Toulouse and Gloucester. Sorry, Gloucesterman, you gave it a hell of a whirl. Good to see you in the Champions Cup again. 2 years running now, but this is 2 years that you don't get out of this pool.
Yeah,
pool
it's
play.
not gonna happen.
Sorry. And then an interesting one: Montpellier and Connacht. No bearing on it whatsoever.
Nobody gives a shit.
But I've spoken how so ill of Montpellier, and I do love Connacht. Even if they put in a B team, I'll give it to the club from Galway.
I have no reason to love Connacht, and no real reason to hate Montpellier. So I'm going with the home side here.
Yeah, go with the home team. All right. There you go. You get a chance to get one more game up on me.
Yep.
If it goes that way, you'll be down one.
That
if not, you'll be back to where you were.
Yeah.
So we know that we're not going to be watching that game.
Not so much.
And we know we probably won't be watching like
Sale Glasgow.
Sale Glasgow may not have a whole lot of bearing.
I don't think I'm going to be watching Benetton Leinster.
No, I'm not gonna. I don't have a reason to watch that. I'll probably look at the score after the Northampton Leon match and be like, oh, okay, happened as I thought.
So that happened.
No big deal. No problem for them.
Yeah, I'll consider watching the Saris wrestling.
Just a little bit. Yeah, I might be traveling this weekend. So I'm not really excited about it. This is the wrong weekend to travel.
It's gonna be nasty out there.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, might be traveling.
I advise against it. For the record.
Yeah, so do I, but that might not be my choice. So I will put up start sit for FRD. Doing my best. Obviously, we're gonna have some really funny looking lineups on some of these squads. So I'll do what I can. Super FRD though. Make sure that you get a hold of Ben or I if you want to get in on the podcast leagues and Fantasy Rugby Podcast at gmail.com for possibly getting in on it. Also, send us your questions there if you have one. That's a good spot to do it as well.
Yes, TFRY.
Yep, we'll get back to that next week. Yay! Check out George. Support the Rugby Mag guys. Come on, let's get this going. Let's get them over the line. I don't know what the last tally was, but let's get these guys some help. They're good. They're good folk. They deserve it. And we want to play some TRM for Super Rugby big time. I know everybody else out there does. Super Rugby is so much fun to watch, and you can't tell me that TRM for Super Rugby is boring. It definitely would be fun. So get these guys some help out there. Let's go. Get that donation in there, and we'll get them over the line together. No. Don't be cheap. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. And other than that, we'll be back next week. So we'll see how this all plays out. Yeah, it's anybody's guess really, especially like from like 3 down, kind of up in the air. So we'll see what happens. But until then, we will talk to you guys then. Thank you guys for coming along, and we'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one.
Later.
Cheers.